I never thought I'd meet someone like him. Not in this life. Not in the ordinary messy world where things happen in a blink, where love is quick and fleeting. No, he didn't belong in this world. He was the kind of person who belonged in poems, in the slow, soft pages that tell stories of heartache and devotion. The kind that linger on your lips for years. I met him by accident. It was one of those rainy afternoons when you feel like the world has already forgotten you. I was standing by the window of a small bookstore on the corner of a street I'd walked 100 times before. The sky was dark, and the pavement glistened from the earlier downpour. I hadn't meant to go inside, but there he was, sitting in a corner, reading a book, as if the world was his own private moment. I don't know why I noticed him. Maybe it was the way the light caught the edge of his glasses, or how he seemed to exist only in the moment he was in. Or maybe it was the fact that, for the first time in a long time, someone made me feel like time could stop. He looked up when he heard the door chime. I didn't realize I'd been staring, but when our eyes met, I quickly looked away. He didn't say anything. He just smiled, that half smile that seemed to hold everything unsaid. The kind of smile that says, I see you. That was the first time I felt seen. We began talking. Small talk at first. I can't even remember what we said. But somehow, it didn't matter. Every word from him felt like it was unraveling something in me, something I had buried deep. He had that kind of presence, the kind that makes you forget where you are. He had that effortless grace that makes everything seem easy, even the most difficult things. I think I fell in love with him before I even knew his name. His name was Alex. We spent hours in that bookstore, talking about everything and nothing. Time seemed to stop around us. I felt like I'd known him for a lifetime, even though it had only been a few hours. After that, we met often. Cafes, parks, bookshops, endless walks in the rain. He made me feel like I wasn't alone in the world anymore, like I had someone who understood the parts of me that I couldn't even explain. With him, I was free. We never had to try to be anything we weren't. We were just, together. But nothing good lasts forever. Not in this world, at least. As the months passed, I began to notice the shifts, the small things that seemed insignificant at first but added up in ways that couldn't be ignored. The way he'd get distant when we were supposed to be close. The way he'd look out the window instead of at me when we talked about the future. It started to feel like I was speaking to a ghost. A version of him that wasn't quite there. He never said anything about it. He just let the silence grow. But I knew. I could feel it in the air. The same air that used to feel electric between us now felt heavy and stale. I couldn't ask him. I couldn't demand answers. Because deep down, I already knew the truth. I wasn't enough. I remember the day he told me he was leaving. He didn't say it in a dramatic way. There were no tears. No grand declarations. He just looked at me, and in his eyes I saw everything, the emptiness he couldn't fill, the love that had already started to fade, and the ghost of him that had been walking beside me for weeks. Sometimes, he said, you have to let go of something beautiful to make space for what's next. I didn't understand it then. I wanted to scream, to hold on to him, to beg him to stay. But I couldn't. It was like watching someone slip through your fingers in slow motion. I could feel him pulling away, but I couldn't reach him. He left, and I stayed. For months, I wandered through life as if I were in a fog. Everything felt muffled, as if I were watching my own life from a distance. I couldn't get rid of the feeling of him, of us. I kept thinking about all the little things, the way his hand felt when it brushed mine, the way his voice changed when he said my name. I clung to those memories like they were the only things keeping me grounded. But the truth was, nothing really held me anymore. I was still there, walking around, breathing, but I wasn't living. I was half a person. Because no matter what I did, the ghost of him lingered in every corner of my mind. I tried to move on. I dated others. I even tried to fool myself into thinking I was happy. But no one could fill that space. No one could make me feel the way he did, even though I knew he wasn't the one who could heal me. I understood that, but the heart doesn't always listen to reason, does it? It was on another rainy afternoon, just like the one when I first saw him, that I came across a note. It was in a bookstore, the same one where we'd spent hours talking, laughing, and dreaming about our futures. The note was tucked between the pages of a book I had been reading months ago. I opened it, and there it was, his handwriting.
I never meant to hurt you. I just couldn't stay in something I couldn't fully give to. It's not you. It's me. But I hope one day you understand why I had to go. You will always be the best part of me.
I held that note in my hands and felt something shift in me. Maybe it was the realization that he was right, that we were never meant to stay together forever. Maybe it was the understanding that sometimes love is fleeting, but it leaves something behind. Something that makes you better, stronger, and more whole. I let the note fall to the floor, and for the first time in months, I smiled. Not because I was happy, but because I finally understood.
You wasn't living in the past anymore.
I had let go of the ghost of him that had haunted me for so long. I walked out of the bookstore, the rain soaking me to the bone, and I felt free. The ghost of him was still there somewhere, but I had learned to live without it. And maybe that's all we can ever do.